Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Terra Invicta as the Academy episode number 12 now. I'm actually pretty excited. I just saw Perun Gaming has started a new series. He finished his Humanity First one and is now doing the Academy. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, also a little terrifying that I am now going to be put under the lens of comparison to him. But yeah, anyway, these are different playthroughs. It'll be his second time. This is my first. He's doing some new strategy. I'm muddling through the generically good, or what people perceive as the optimal strategy, or one of the best strategies, which is the United States. Okay, anyways, on to this stuff. So yeah, please, by all means, check out his stuff. Hopefully, I will be able to put out these episodes fast enough that I can stay ahead of his timeline. Otherwise, I don't know, people will be hard-pressed to watch this one at all, I think. Okay, so series, we now have a couple bases that have finished here, which is great. So remember, oh my gosh, remember it was like 8.374, and this hasn't changed much, unfortunately, and this hasn't either. But now that 8.7 is now 18. We've over doubled our water intake and about doubled our volatiles. Huge increase in goods from series, which is not surprising. It's what we expected. But just look at this water. 170. 101 volatiles. And yeah, okay, not that much in the way of base metal, not that much in the way of fissiles. Actually, fissiles is more than I expected, so this has probably gone up from like, what, 0.6 something to 0.69. Yeah, I mean, just because the 0.6 didn't change, I wasn't sure if it had changed at all, but it definitely has. That's good to see. 4.3 rare, what is it called? Royal? Noble. Yeah, noble metals, that's the one. So the 4.3 increase in noble metals doesn't look like it made a big impact anyway. But yeah, well, you can see that we're starting to develop a nice stockpile here, and having series is just awesome. In fact, if it was anybody other than Humanity First, in fact, I guess Resistance would be fine, Project Exodus would be fine. If this was Protectorate or Servants, this would be my first mission, would be to liberate those other places and take them over myself. However, because the volatiles is pretty low and water, we already have a ton of water. In fact, we're really doing well on water. We don't need to worry about ourselves, about the other two, and we kind of want Humanity First to start crap with the aliens. It would be nice to have some support from them. One of the things in my other playthroughs I've never seen, and it's probably because I haven't got far enough into the game, but just as a note, I've never seen that the AI get too duke things out with the aliens too much. I do hope I see that, especially playing as Academy. We have plenty of factions that should be provoking some stuff from the aliens. I hope to see it. Yeah, so it's still not even the end of August yet, but we got this new tech, and I think it's worth investing in. So I'm going to go over here to our other project of the similar category. Yeah, good. And then we can go over to, this is the one we're working on right now. We will move back to that one eventually, but the hybrid air-breathing rockets gives us a 20% boost to boost. And thankfully it doesn't take too long. It's only a 1,000 point project. So it'll be finished pretty soon, and then we'll switch back to the other one. I'm not sure if we really need to be doing it this way, because we don't really need the boost. Again, I've already mentioned this. I don't know if we have anybody even doing boost. Okay, the first nation I click on. I do have the United States doing boost just so their boost doesn't go negative. But Canada doesn't have it. You guys have boost, but it's not being produced by me. Same story with Germany. And then I guess no boost being produced at all by Ireland, nor anywhere else. Yeah, no boost being produced here, and you can see it does go negative. I guess there is some kind of small decay. I imagine it's an exponential thing. And by that I mean it's just probably some fraction, like a percentage of your current boost. But we could mitigate this just like a single point or whatever. But yeah, anyway, here's Kazakhstan, by the way. We're just producing mission control with it. It doesn't give us a whole lot of points, but boost doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here because it's only 0.22. I'd rather have 0.3, like 0.30 or higher. So anyways, it looks like otherwise then Kazakhstan is slowly becoming a better place. Just probably not ever going to be too relevant. It's just too small. Still in August, but now we have this new project we picked up, the Hydro language. Now I'm not sure I'm not actually sure about what it means to continue to move on with the story objectives. I don't know this, but in a lot of games, you do the side quest first type thing. You progress the main story at your own peril. I hope that's not the case, but I'm strongly inclined to believe that that's not the case in this kind of game, which, with the Long War, the aliens were doing their own thing, kind of regardless of what you were doing. And I'm hoping that the aliens don't react directly to what research you've done, but more like what you're doing. Like, for example, the mission control. If you're like too big in space, they can react to that. That makes sense. Killing their agents, that makes sense. Like just me, well, I guess me talking to them could trigger something. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So it's funny. I'm gonna research Hydra language here. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because I just don't know what I'm doing here. But I hope that this doesn't like trigger a cascade of events that leads to them attacking sooner or something like that. If there's an optimal strategy where you don't do these mission objectives earlier, it does seem to me like it should be. Like just as a casual remark, an uninformed person would expect that learning the language would be beneficial. It's just going to allow you to learn more about them. So hopefully that doesn't trigger like the increasing difficulty. Just can't go anywhere without the game interrupting me. Okay, so anyways, Vesta, it looks like a pretty good one. I was going to go over and investigate whether or not we should do something, but it looks like Project X just got there first. Otherwise, pretty nice values. 34 for the base metal, 7 for the noble metals. Has some fissiles too. I think it's a worthwhile one to take. Luckily for us, we don't have to make the decision because it's already taken. With our new resources, this is another thing I've been... I think I should probably be doing a little bit more aggressively. Mind you, the mission control points that we don't actually... the cap that we have over what we're using is useful for both money. Not by that much. Let's see here. But that, is that per day? Yeah, it's our daily. 2.4 from... Actually, that is a lot. But also, it helps us with what? Influence? No, research. Does it help us with here? Yeah, it actually helps us with... No, minus for control points. I'm looking for mission control. It does help us with research, which, by the way, we're over 100 per day, which is pretty great. Anyways, okay, so I was thinking, why not just throw some more stations up, which might actually reduce, since this is 0.7 a day. And we're putting up something which will give us 5 a month, which is it's easy math, right? Should be around 0.2 a day. So obviously it's going to be a lot less than what we're getting from mission control. I don't know, maybe it's about the same. But anyways, long story short, let's get the research bonuses. I want to put this up in Leo 2 before those are all gone. So let's go ahead and found a few platforms. And I should do what I already should have done. By the way, my last episode 11, just went up and I'm continuing to record. So probably people are going to say this in the last one, and as they should, right? I messed up. It's very easy to combine the Information Science Lab, which has -6 power, with... Social Science, is it? Yeah, Social Science. So this has only -3. Information is -6. There's obvious synergy here. That's total less than 10. That's the only way you can combine the Information Science one with... this is what works. So we'll do the Solar Collector. Not really doing this in any organized manner. And then on top of that, we'll do... So we have the -6 for the Information Science. Life Science gives us the -5. No. Social Science. There it is. Yeah. So this will give us a little more Social Science as well. It's not super important. This is not like a combination that I think we're desperately in need of, but it's what we're doing. Okay, so that's one station, but why not? Why stop there? We can continue to be aggressive with our spending. Again, we do have a fair amount of, I'd say a substantial amount of income, and that includes boost, but also the other resources. So we'll find another platform in Leo 2. And I will, what should we build here? Just maybe going insane. So we'll probably stop after this one. But what do we want? We have materials, which would give us more military boost. Or we could go for, well, we got the information, so that gives us a little bit more knowledge boost, which is good. I certainly do want the military boost. We could also do, well, can we do anything else? Xenology labs. These will be helpful for detecting the aliens. They also give 10% per, which is quite a lot. But the 10% will apply anywhere, and the +1 for detecting aliens on Earth, you don't really need that many. I think that the Xenology lab is probably a weak one to put in Leo, whereas there are other ones where you would want them, definitely want them closer. Like maybe the space science, so we get mission control bonus. That is something that I will be continuing to try to generate, although I've been basically trying to cherry pick. And yeah, by the way, this 100.7, I think it was a little bit higher before I built the last station. So it turns out I think that mission control free points look like they do better for you than the labs you can actually put. Although, to be fair, I don't get the science for those until they're finished, so it's too early for me to actually say that. So materials labs, this gives us the science. I mean, materials is great as well, but we're also way, way high on the bonus. Maybe I'll do materials with life science? Yeah, I could do double life science, but I think I'll do this. Materials, life science, and a solar. So that's -5, -5, and then +10. Good. Okay, so that's what I'll do for now. Hab has been completed on Lick. Let's just take a look at that. Ooh, so I just put an outpost down here. Do I want to actually do something with it? Well, probably yes. We're already spending the MC. Might as well get some benefit out of it. What? No, I want sites. This is worth it. It's honestly not the best one. I probably could abandon this one, or at least leave it on the potential shortlist of ones that I may want to abandon. But for now, let's just get some benefit out of it. Outpost mining complex. We'll need a fission pile. And that should be -9, +10, which means we have 1 left over, which we can't do anything with, so we'll just leave it there. Oh, okay, so this is important to know. We get -1 mission control for the actual outpost core. We also get -1 mission control for the outpost mining complex. So this is a total of -2, which I haven't been keeping in my calculations, which means that our mission control is actually going to blossom. I mean, my used is going to blossom, but I need to make sure my capacity goes up as well. Okay, well, we just completed the hybrid whatever boost thing, and in the meantime, we also got mobile space science labs, which are only going to be useful on ships, so we probably won't be using those right now. I think it makes sense maybe to go back to Mountain Warfare Doctrine. Maybe eventually we also get executive privilege, but since we're researching... Yeah, so we have that one already. We don't have military science. We're doing Hydra language. I think this looks good. Just kidding, I changed it back to water purification. I forgot about that one. Well, this is very interesting. I found the very first, I guess this is the first spaceship, and it is from Project Exodus, so we won't get the nice bonus that you get, I think, to influence, and I think even to research, for having the first spaceship, the first warship, really, because this is a warship out in space. That'll go to Project Exodus. It's not a very good ship. I think it's basically just some entry-level systems. It wouldn't be much of a threat to the aliens, but it's out there, and it also has the fission outpost kit and the fission platform kit. So this one in particular has the capability of founding either an outpost or a platform, which can be very useful. Okay, it is the end of 2028, where I was actually hoping to be at the beginning, or at the end of the last video. But here we are. Let's do a quick review of where everything is. I have been fighting actually pretty hard to take, or to positively influence, some of the really forsaken countries in South America and Central America. So, I mean, I was originally trying to hold over. I mean, actually, this is one I have to abandon again. Good old Nicaragua, sorry about that, but I'm trying to save up some control points in order to dislodge the servants from Europe. There's a little bit of an interesting game I've been trying to play, and like it doesn't matter. I mean, I basically skipped like 3 months, right? The last time was probably August. But nothing was really happening. I've just been playing my game. And what is that exactly? I've just been trying to take control points and then abandon them so that I can still control the country's direction with priorities. Priorities which don't focus on spoils at all. And I'm abandoned, so I don't get any research or any benefit from the country, but I just want to still make the world a better place. Not only is this pretty fitting for the Academy to do, I also don't want. I think it's just bad for the world if you're. I mean, the Academy's pretty much anybody as the human player. You're expecting to probably gain a larger slice of the pie of the world. And therefore, you want the world to be in a good place. You don't want nukes flying because that hurts everybody, but because you're probably going to be the strongest player, it's going to hurt you proportionately more. And again, it's the world is still your main industrial base, and you're going to use that to fight the aliens. So, I've actually taken and solidified Mexico as yet another country that I'm holding on to. And I'm probably going to slowly work my way through some of the higher population places. This one I consider basically a lock. It's still an anocracy. So we've been working on this with government, a little bit of unity to keep this up, and the diversity, hopefully, around 5. Military just to squash the unrest which keeps creeping up, although I've had to basically use counselors every third mission segment in order to manually reduce that. And then I've also been doing public opinion. So I don't know exactly how it works, but my perception of the diverse is that if you have more of this filled in with your faction, it will lead to less. Down here we have fractured, or zeros completely falling apart, completely decoherent. That is what I'm trying to avoid, hopefully by getting public opinion up. It also makes the place easier to hold. And by the way, that's the other thing, is Bolivia is the other country I chose in the south, because apparently this is the one that can form. Somebody left in the comments that this is the one which forms the South American Union, or the United States of South America, or whatever it is. So I've decided to just latch onto that one, even though it's not that high population, only 13 million, and there are other choices we would like to go with, like Peru. Ecuador is 20. Venezuela is big, 33. Colombia is 55, so this is another one that I should start manipulating, because it's actually the other factions have been doing a pretty good job of actually trying to do the same thing I'm doing, but they aren't. It doesn't look like they're investing ministers or counselors, agents, whatever, into actually lowering the unrest and also raising the public opinion, which I hope leads to better cohesion, but I'm not really sure it does. I kind of actually don't think it does. But just, on a whim and a prayer, I'm doing it anyway. So that's been my strategy with South America. I've also held on to these two. Whoops, no, Oman I lost. Just kidding. So I only hold on to the Gulf states. And this is, if you've probably noticed for a long time, my money has actually been negative 10.4. Nonetheless, I'm not losing money. I've been at 39.5 for the last year. And that includes little expenditures that I have to do every now and then. There's a hurricane, you have to spend 200 money, 20 op points to mitigate the economic damage, which I do every time, 100% of the time. In my opinion, that's the Academy way, but that's also probably the Tortuga way. So the spoils, it's funny. This one spoils category for Gulf State is actually compensating for all of my expenditures. Well, nearly. Obviously, I dropped from 39.5 to 39.4, so there is a slight negative trend, which I would like to correct. But for now, I'm just happy to sit there. It's at least 39k as a reserve. It's a pretty big reserve, so we can handle any kind of events. We'll have a little bit of reaction time. We have some money, liquid capital at our disposal. Let's go over to the intel, because there's some funny stuff I want to show you about the servants. I penetrated the servants, as in turn their agents, maybe 3 times this year. Every time they've ended up killing their agent. But let's take a look at Mr. Xingwang Zai. Anyway, he's probably their best counselor. So he's 6'7", 3'9", 13, 820. It's reasonable stats now. Not as reasonable if you want to think about his underlying stats. They're not as good, considering he has Shield of the Devoted, which gives this guy 3 persuasion, 5 command, 6 administration, quite a lot, and 10 security. So he's hard to take out because of the 10 security, but he's not. Despite the fact that he's their best, he's not even that great. if we just keep going through their commanders, you're going to kind of see a trend here. Here's a Tycoon. Let me turn that down a little bit. 5-13-6, 5-13-1, 7-13. So, and she's my turn counselor. So, but really not much to write home about. Not that great of scores. Should probably try to do this somewhat quickly. You're gonna get the point anyway. Basically, they're all crap because I've actually started assassinating all their good counselors. So 3-4-8, 4-0-0-5. I mean, not very good. Basically, espionage in 8 of 8 is a little worrisome, but basically nothing else. Even just all garbage other than that. That was Salvador. We have Somali here. She only has persuasion of 6, and then she's just completely garbage. Completely garbage. So I'm actually like thankful that the servants have her. Now there might be a problem for them just even recruiting good people, because I've killed so many of their. I mean, I've assassinated. I shouldn't say so many. I probably only assassinated 3 this year, but they themselves have killed 3 because I've had to turn 3 counselors. That means prior to that, they eliminated the person I had turned. So they've gone through probably 5 or 6 counselors this year, meaning 2028. And the last one, 663, 1614. So a highest rating of 6. Again, just really not that much that's impressive about that. Go over to resources here. They're down to 21 science again. And my goal, this is what I was trying to say earlier. My really broad plan is I want to push them out of the European Union. But I don't want to do that yet because they're technically still helping it with boost. Now boost doesn't matter to me at all. The only reason why boost will matter at this point is it's possible I'll pick up like the hospital or the tourism one that actually has a boost maintenance cost that gives you money. If I do that, then I will want some boost, but mainly I could see it as a way of actually getting rid of a lot. I have a lot of orgs right now which are giving me boost predominantly. That's their main benefit. And those are great orgs in the early game. Now we're a little bit beyond that, and I don't think boost is going to matter as much, so I should probably start spending some time going through and like, white fang industries, this is not one we're going to, get rid of. Probably similarly with the Filfla here. It's pretty good for a lot of other reasons. But there are some that are just like giving me boost, and I don't think I need those anymore. Let's see if I have an example somewhere. Yeah, Orpheus Rocketry here. It gives me 1.25 boost and 2% spaceflight program. This is one that I'm pretty sure I can just get rid of or trade or something. And then, it's a 1-star, so I can just put in an extra science thing there or something. And there's a lot like this. So here's another one. Capella Aviation. Gives me 1 mission control, which I'd be loath to lose. But it also does 1.75 boost a month. And, maybe I don't need that anymore. So, similar decisions I'll have to make about other orgs. Going back to the state of affairs for the whole group. So their research is really low, and I don't really understand why. This is where it was before, but several times throughout the year, this has been at 30. It's never been, the initiative also has low research. I'm not really sure why that is. But note that the servants are at 245 out of 263, extremely low control points. They were at 290 a little bit ago, so I don't know what happened. There's been just a lot of changing hands, I guess a lot of crackdowns, purging, all that happening. Humanity First is at 361, so they're really doing quite well, and I always like to see Exodus doing well. They are, 310. They're not even over their cap, which is good to see. Resistance doing... So basically it's first, Humanity First, second, Exodus, and third, Resistance. That's the way I would label it. Science-wise, that's also the case. With the Initiative and the Servants, probably the two that I trust the least. Obviously, Servants, way worse than Initiative, running second last and then last. But anyway, and you can see the rest of the numbers. You can pause the screen if you don't. Resistance looks like they're struggling for some basic resources. Project Exodus, not surprisingly, is doing really well on resources. I've seen Humanity First take some good bases. Looks like they're not doing well on all the fronts, but they're doing okay. Initiative is doing well, which you would expect them to be, managing resources well. Servants are actually doing pretty well, except for Noble. So that's unfortunate. I'd love for them to be doing poorly. We are just in conflict with basically everybody, except for Tolerant with Project Exodus. I don't even know why. I think that's because they've actually targeted us with some missions. We haven't targeted them for quite a while. And then at war with the Servants, which I'm fine with. Actually, it's nice to see that the Humanity First has actually gone to war with both the Servants and the aliens now, which is what we were all expecting. Tech-wise, yeah, I mean, we're just going to let this build up maybe another 1,000 and then we'll purge it. So that's the summary from the year 2028. I'm still trying to move in to eventually displace in European Union. I don't know what I'm going to do with Russia. I really don't. I think I'd rather build the European Union than build Russia. I'm still not even sure if I really want to hold the European Union. I would at least like to combine these because then there is something to be said about the efficiency of combining and only needing one agent to like lock down for defend, for various other things. The thing we're trying to manage though is not getting the 6th. I don't think it's possible for me not to get the 6 control points, which means it will be slightly control point inefficient to merge them. I don't know if I want to take that or just leave it separated for now. Okay, well that's pretty much the strategy. Moving forward, try to get South America and all that. Just hold on to a little bit of spoils. We already have the nice situation where humanity first is China, and the resistance is doing well with India. Those are good things. Okay, we have finished Arrival International Development, and we did the most research, so we get to pick the next one. Another nice quote from Li Qingzhao. And I really like the Academy. I find that the more their storyline develops, as opposed to other ones where you're not sure about and it gets worse or whatever, this one's like the more you read, the more I find myself falling in love with their ideology. Anyways, it's a nice read. A lot of good text, and so it's really nice that we are the faction to finish this, so we can get a lot of these first. Let me take a moment to go through these. There's one I think I already know what I'm going to do. I just need to make sure I have a target. I just need to know which of the texts I'm supposed to pick to reach at the target. Let's just take a quick look at Skunkworks, which is the item I was trying to beeline towards. It would take us to use advanced neural networks. Now, if you right-click on advanced neural networks and the advanced complete full tech tree, this is what you'll get. It's a big list, and there's a lot of really good things here. I'm especially looking at things like apparatchiks. Gives you 10 control points. Some of these, I don't understand why this one, transnational management, gives you only 25 control points for 50,000. So mind you, this is the same as doing you can do the management one on repeat for the social science. And if you did that for 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12,000, that would be exactly the same cost as doing this and give you the exact same number of control points. So the fact that we're not even on 7 yet, I think the next one is 6, means that we should probably go down that line, do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we'll end up 5,000 cheaper. That would be effectively 45,000 for all that. So I think I'd rather go that line than ever do this. Just saying, I mean, I guess this is transnational management as if you are really going deep down the management line. We probably don't need to do that anytime soon. Okay, anyways, that's a needless aside. So there are a lot of interesting things, but I think the most important factor for me is just the fact that we are already doing an information research because we are going down the quantum computing line. And not only that, but we also want to do cybernetics. So there's unfortunately a few things standing in the way here. If I go all the way out, actually we can see it here. Information, space science, we have material science and xenology. Independence movements is available for us to research, and social science, so that we aren't actually doing that right now. And this could lead to a very cheap, only 2,500 global command structure. Unfortunately, the breaking up of things is not really the way I want to go, so I may not pursue this, but it is, effectively a 7,500, and we share the 5,000, so it's a pretty cheap way to get more control points. Here's a real contender, space commerce. First, it leads to our space future, which will lead to good things like colony, the tier 3 stuff, some antimatter stuff. Lots of good stuff eventually, but even more immediately, it gives us, okay, this is not important, 10% sales of our metals, but we don't care about that. Space traffic control gives us 25% boost to mission control investment. That is something we actually are investing in pretty heavily and probably will invest in even more heavily as time progresses. There's also civilian quantum computing, which gives us better economy investment and 10 control points. A bit expensive, 25,000 for a faction project, but I think that this is, at least for space traffic control, is not a bad thing to consider. Arrival mass communication does look pretty interesting. Not by itself necessarily, but it looks like arrival culture will lead to a lot of good things. It's 20,000 investment, pretty high. That's the same as basically the quantum computing one we're trying to do now, but it does lead to some pretty cheap increases in control points. Instruments of soft power, there's another one. Common concern? Yeah, that one's 10,000, but that also is there. There's another one though. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, technically it does also work as 10, but that's still 10,000. The instruments of soft power would be nice to gain extra 10. So there's a lot of little points. I was just trying to look up control point management capacity increases, and those are some of them that I found. Okay, well, I'm going to go with settlement habs. I don't think I've gotten as much of a life science bonus as I should like in order to be choosing these, but 20% is just pretty low in my opinion. I might build some more Leo stations to give us even more, and then that one I think impacts welfare, so it's not a bad one to add. Anyway, my goal right now is actually going to be to have this one finish, so settlement habs, which I just chose, finish at the same time that water purification techniques finishes, and then the next one I want to choose a material science one for that. But we'll see if that works out. I mean, Hydra language is going to finish soon, so we can use that for, the other one. But eventually there'll probably be another xenology technology that we choose there. Well, we just got institutional bastions, and this gives us 10 extra command points. So I'm going to choose this, even though we're getting close on the material science one. I think that us doing 3x on a faction one might actually translate to faster than 1x on the other one with the help of the other factions, because we're contributing a lot more than other factions, so even like 2x of ours is probably like the max that we can expect the whole thing to go as. So I think that this might actually work out. We can try to get through this one, and then, I don't know, this is more important than the water one at least. So if I want to control the earth with more control points, then I just have to prioritize this. When Hydra language finishes, I'll switch back to the material science one, but that'll only be for probably a short amount of time. I think this is because we have Anchorage that we have this option to do this. Oh wait, we actually have Vladivostok too as well. That's interesting. Interesting. So this might be something else I want to do. I don't even know how much the Bering Strait. How much is Bering Strait? 10,000. Probably not going to be a high priority, unfortunately. We have completed Hydra language project. While it will take some time to fully comprehend the Hydra language, we have now identified sufficient patterns and repeating elements to establish the core concepts behind it. Essentially, their method of communication is twofold: an auditory aspect much like our own, and, perhaps more importantly, a ferrocite-based aspect which chemically and wordlessly conveys the emotional context of their otherwise functional speech. Excuse me. We can now proceed with direct translation of the spoken element, should we wish it. It remains to be seen, however, how effective any attempt at communication will be without replication of the chemosensory element. We have completed it. Learn their language. We expected the Hydra language to be more sophisticated than ours. The truth, interestingly, has turned out to be the exact opposite. The grammar of the Hydra language resembles a simpler version of Mandarin or Cantonese, and compared to the intricate rules of English, it is remarkably straightforward. The sounds are, of course, impossible to produce with human vocal cords, but this is easily solved by audio playback. To our linguists, raised on the enormous variety and complexity of Earth languages, deciphering the rules of Hydra speech has been quite easy. Unfortunately, the reason the Hydra language is so simple is that it is designed to work in conjunction with Hydra ferrocites. Hydra ferrocite communication provides the emotional depth and sophistication that their auditory language lacks. The words alone are more of a skeleton, with ferrocites providing context and intent. Communicating audio only with a Hydra is the equivalent of speaking atonal Chinese, or English with a vocabulary limited to perhaps a few hundred nouns and verbs. Still, crude communication is better than nothing. Okay, so now we have conduct diplomacy with the aliens, which is complete Hydra diplomacy when that becomes available. So we're just gonna keep going through stuff. We also have Hydra interrogation when that becomes available. So lots of little things. We're slowly progressing the plot. I honestly don't know if we should be pushing as hard as we are down this line. Oh, here we go. Now that we have both a Hydra and a means of communicating with it, we can attempt a proper conversation. Unfortunately, our translation methods are still crude. We expect this to be a long process. Hopefully Rudy, as one of our security personnel has named him, will be willing to talk. Interesting, they named him Rudy. Interesting. Okay, well, there it is, and that means that we can do another project, which is probably just going to be a placeholder until, in, I assume, a very short amount of time, we get the next Xeno whatever research. Well, in the page directly out of XCOM, it looks like the aliens are terrorizing civilians now. I'm not sure what effect this has. Causing widespread damage. I mean, I suppose this is an economic impact to the poor Mongolian people. Which is strange considering it's owned by the servants. I actually thought this was, at least I think it was once, controlled by Humanity First. But this is not currently, and Project Exodus is there? Or what the heck is going on? Are they at war? No. In fact, we are, in theory, allies with them. Anyway, this is a new one for me, but it really does remind me of XCOM. So I know that we can go and investigate that at the next point, but yeah, I don't know. I guess the other news is I know for sure that one of these two is an alien, and I keep looking for them. I don't really know if we're going to go around assassinating more of them. Maybe I will, because I don't know what retaliation will look like this early on in the game. Although as the Academy, that might not be in character, so I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Well, this is kind of a funny thing that came to a conclusion. Resistance has finally taken Venezuela. They were at war. First of all, I was Venezuela for a long time, but then I was pushed out because I cracked down my own points so I don't take the control point hit. Somebody eventually came in. One of them was the servants, and then actually I came back in and forgot that they were already at war. Resistance had declared war on them. Anyways, they did it with the military conquest through Korea. Interestingly enough. Well, I thought I would bring you in here, not because I'm going to switch, but actually because I'm not going to switch. We have Hydra interrogation, and we actually already got Hydra diplomacy right before that change in Venezuela. And by the way, just to let you know the time, it's that was end of January, now it's beginning of February 2029. We do have Hydra interrogation and Hydra diplomacy, but I'm not going to choose them yet. I mean, our bonus in Xenology is 63%. Actually, it's the same bonus that I have for Material Science, which just shows you how incredible my Material Science bonus is. I need to go back to see where Perun was at with his science bonuses around 2029 to see like how much. I'm just guessing he was higher, had bigger bonuses than I do, and not that I mean, to a degree, it is controllable by just putting out more science stations orbiting the Earth or whatever. Some of it is random though, with like what counselors you have. And I do have some pretty good counselors, so I feel like I should be at least decent with them. Well, with the one exception, of course, of the life science, which is by far my lowest. Yeah, I have 20% for life science, then space science is 36, information science 37. Then we have 50 as military science, 56 social science, 63, and 63 for xenology and material science. Oh, yeah, 49 was, energy was 49 in there as well. So I feel like they're relatively good bonuses, with the exceptions in there, obvious ones, life science, and maybe a little bit space science and information science could go up a little bit. It would be very helpful since those are two I'm researching. But material science I think is very good, 63. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say, that with such a huge bonus for material science, I'm just going to push through and finish the water purification. We have about 3,300 more to go. It'll finish in April, as will this one, so both of these will finish. I definitely do not want to take institutional bastions off, because it gives me the 10 extra control points. So yeah, anyways, that's the plan, is we're going to defer the alien missions a little bit. I don't feel too bad about doing that, because I had been very aggressively pursuing the mission lines, ASAP, and there's still the question in the back of my mind, I wish I knew. Does it help you? Is there the usual thing in these games, which I feel like the Long War developers have like planned around, is that when you do missions, it ramps up the difficulty, right? Do all the side quests first, and I'm doing the primary missions first. But I'm not sure. It's not the usual way to go, and I'm kind of going the main quest line, which is not normally the best way. Well, I was on the verge of trying to kill Xenoform Alpha 15 here. Not that that would be a very easy task anyway, but I have decided I'm not going to. I think it'll be a little bit against the storyline, frankly, and that's my motivation, is purely for role-playing purposes, that I don't think the Academy would be killing Alpha 15 when they're in the process of trying to open up dialogue. So I'm not going to kill this alien, even though it has been annoying. And we'll just admire the fact that he has salamander shock troops, that I can see this org, but that I don't know what salamander or salamander shock troops would be. Okay, we completed water purification. That was a big project, and water has gone up by 15%. I've actually backtracked a little bit. I'm not going to go to Hydra xenology stuff yet. I feel like I need to finish off some of these other ones. I don't know why I feel like I'm behind and I've done too much story too quickly. But I'm just going to get Mountain Warfare Doctrine, get that one, and probably Institutional Bastions. I'll go to... not the xenology ones either. I'll do a different one. Another social science. I'll probably do the management one to get another 5 points. And only a few days later, here's Institutional Bastions, which gives us two good things. One, -2 to hostile takeover missions against us, and also the 10 control points, which is pretty big. Obviously, you know, I'm kind of control point focused, maybe obsessed, maybe too much so. But I think I'm going to go with Management Research one more time, get us another 5 points. My rationale for doing this yet again is simply, if we're ever going to do it, we're going to get benefits for doing it earlier. So might as well do it sooner rather than later. Now, Orbital Core is also pretty tempting now that I just see it there for only 1,000. Because we could definitely use level 2 orbital stuff. Although we're about to unlock a tech, I think we're about to unlock a tech. Settlement Habs, yeah, and then there's also a science one that we haven't gotten yet, so maybe we'll just try to squeeze in one more management research first. I've looked, and I think that I have been insane. I don't even recommend the kind of insane lengths I've gone to increase my CP cap. I've really just gone pretty crazy about it. Yeah, I don't think that people are normally, before 2030, already looking at 450 points, and I'm almost at 500 full control points. A little bit absurd. Now, I want to say some things because I've kind of been debating a lot about what is the optimal strategy. Of course, it's always something on my mind. But lately, I've come to the idea that having India is kind of as optimal after you have the United States as having the United States is in the very beginning. I feel like the 1-2 combo of United States early into India mid-game is like the perfect 1-2 combo, and I have to say that we have no real way of getting there. If the servants start to do some shenanigans here, then maybe we can jump in there. But I don't have any. I mean, thankfully, at least the resistance doesn't completely trash their country. They haven't really done spoils, so they're actually improving the country effectively. I would say improving the country for me. Because one day I do hope to own it. Can't really say the same thing about Humanity First, which makes them such a interesting contender. Really an interesting faction. And I don't mind this, again, as long as I see Humanity First actually attack aliens, actually do some crap. I really hope it happens, because, again, I still haven't seen it, but I hope it does happen. Well, I don't remember which of my probes I launched first and which ones were supposed to get there because of, the delay, optimal timing window, all that. But whatever happened, we have now scanned Europa, and boy, it does show you how this is a pretty nice place to get. Look at that Difed Regio. I would not mind having that. Lots of fissiles, good noble. I mean, there's good noble several places here. Now, it's not like we're planning to build there anytime soon. I mean, I guess we could. Okay, we also got, oh my goodness, Ganymede, more of the same. It's hard to tell. In fact, if we can bring it up here, I guess we can kind of compare Ganymede and Europa. And then we can declare one king, and then keep that one open when the next probe arrives, which I think we have at least one more big planet to go here. So let me just take a look and I'll try to figure out the best. Well, I have to say there are a lot of really good options here. I can't really pick one that's like stand out amazing compared to all the other ones. But, you know, if I twist my own arm enough, I would probably pick, oh god, I already lost it. Oh shit. Oh yeah, this is definitely a tough call. Maybe I would pick Sipar Sulcus here. Because I think we're a little bit down on nobles. This would still give you some amount of fissiles, good amount of base. I mean, it's really hard to tell. So let's just use... Ah! We're not going to be occupying this one, apparently. So where'd it go? Somewhere down here. Is this it? Oh, they're not in order. Oh no. 5, 7.5. Was this it? Sipar Sulcus. Yeah, okay. Here we go. We have another comparison list. To give me a second. You know what? It doesn't even matter. As much as I stare at this like, you know, the 4-dimensional analysis, I'm not going to be able to do it just in my head, staring at all of these options. But, I mean, look at, there's some insane ones here. Look at Brand Crater with 100 base metal and 20 nobles. We have Ager Crater with 6.2 radiation, or fissiles, 6.4 up here. All of them have a ton of water. Volatiles, maybe that's a bit of a higher concern. Not as many of those, but I guess go somewhere else to get those. Okay, anyway, this has so inspired me, by the way. It's been kind of a long time in coming. I think overdue, I would say. It's time for us to go back to Earth, and it's time for us to found another platform. So we already took up all of Leo 1, but there's still plenty in Leo 2 that we're going to do. So let's go ahead and found a platform in Leo 2. How many even are there? 5 now, yeah. So we're going to probably just make all... I think we might use... Because we got up to 38. I want to make sure that there's 4 available at all times. Because we don't have the surest hold over... oh god, that's not what I wanted to do. We don't have the surest hold over the Eurasian Union. And I may end up backing out of that one. And that one has a lot of mission control. So, anyway, we're going to get to it. Let's see. We're going to do Solar Collector, Build in Space. We want to do... So, Energy Lab we can't do because I mean, we would like to, but... yeah, anyway. It's too expensive as far as energy concerns. So, we are going to do another one of these pairings. We do Information Science, which I do want more of. And then we're also going to do, with Information Science, that's -6. And I think the Social Science, -3. We're going to do another one of these pairings. Great. Done. Give me Science. And then, you know, the same thing. Not the exact same thing. Another Leo 2. Interface Orbit. Very happy with that. Probably going to piss people off by taking all these spots, but you know what? We were going to piss them off anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. Social Science and Information Science have been done. What I think, I mean, gosh, we really don't need any more material labs, but the military bonus is so good. I think what I want to do is Life Science. For sure we need more Life Science. I was even considering, do we go with 2 Life Science here? What does the Space Science give me? Mission Control? It does give Mission Control. What is our Space Science looking like right now? Could probably afford to do one of these. Social Science 56, so Information Science should go up to at least 39 or 40. Military Science is at 50. Wait, well, we aren't going to get Military Science bonus anyway. We'd get, oh my gosh, Material Science at 63. Xenology, I mean, we probably need to get another Xenology here for another 10%. That would be very handy. And it takes 5. Okay, let's do Xenology, because we're really at the cusp. Early July is when we're going to transfer over to the Xenology research again. So let's do one of those. I would have liked to... I mean, maybe I'll do one more. Just one more. And then I can do Material Science and Space Science. This will give me Mission Control and more military investment. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We're going to get super greedy here. Now that means that there is only 1 spot left. I hope people don't hate me for this, but my people are going to be very happy and we're going to get a lot of science. And you know, we're going to have to upgrade these stations and all that eventually. But, Okay, what did I decide? I was going to go with space science for one and material science for the other. So material science is just going to be like through the roof. Really wish we could get energy. Probably should dedicate something on Mars with fissiles over there to energy, but no. I'll think about it. I actually should go investigate that before I do anything. Okay. Project Exodus was clearly ahead on Mission to the Inner Planets. I could have taken it. And actually the one area I think I am behind significantly compared to a lot of people is my global research, because I've been kind of selfishly doing faction research a lot. I don't know if that's necessarily the wrong play, but it does mean that I am, behind for the global space. Anyway, they have chosen to do militarization of space next. I think we're already doing a military one, so that's going to require us to juggle a few things around. No problem. We can now send probes to Mercury and construct habitats there and around Venus. I'm going to pause so we can send probes immediately. And this is the conflict. Yeah, you see 45-45, although technically our military science is a 50. So as it gets higher up, it looks like it has as much of like a 10% penalty, or maybe it's a 5% max penalty. Anyway, so we'll just switch this one. I know that we're so close to finishing it too, but honestly, we're not using mountain warfare right now anyway. So I guess this is our invitation to go back to xenology. And remember, we do have those HABs coming online pretty soon, which should give us another 10% boost. Right, and lest I forget, I should send a probe to Mercury. Almost forgot to do it. 92 days. Looks like it's a terrible launch window. I'm still hoping that we launch it now and we get, we still get information back sooner than if we don't launch it now. If I break my arm scrolling out enough, apparently we don't have to do anything like that for Venus. I do see, what is this? Oh, well, we might as well just prospect it. I don't know why. Anything else in here that we haven't prospected that we can? Probe sent, probe sent. So basically anything in the inner orbit has been done. Look, we actually have some kind of habitat over there. We don't have anything over here. I guess we can launch a probe over there as well. Now, I also saw one last thing, which I'm just going to leave as our cliffhanger. Not really a cliffhanger, but like, what the hell? I don't even know why the aliens hate me so much. Is this working? It looks to me like it is completely full. Maybe it is in fact completely empty, but it looks like it's completely full. The aliens haven't retaliated. I've been kind of like, why? This is last updated last year, 2028 in August, so that means that over a year they've not done anything if it truly is red alert. I don't know what they're doing. And don't they have a fleet in orbit? Maybe I'm mistaken? They have 2 fleets in orbit. So yeah, this is very mysterious to me. I guess that this is just an indicator that I'm misreading this, and this is actually not highlighted at all. We have no... I mean, it'd be nice if they made it a little more clear. Anyway, this is also the point where I definitely have to bring this episode to a close, so I will do so now. In the next episode, we made it almost a full year in this one. Hopefully we can do the same the next, although I doubt it. We're always going to keep slowing down. In the next episode, we will get the next 5 points of management research, switch that out for something else. We'll hopefully, actually, I don't know. Yeah, we'll get Hydro Diplomacy by then. That's going to be interesting to see what that story unlocks for the Academy. And who knows? I really do want to try to control all 3 of these. And part of my motivation for that is I want to put a little bit more work into global research. So I'm probably going to be willing to spend even 2 or 3 on militarization of space just to keep control of it. Also get it done a little bit faster. It sounds like a win-win to me. Anyway, until the next one, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.